Good morning. This is your 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. Seeing some partly cloudy and slightly breezy conditions out there this morning, and we have returned to more seasonable temperatures to start the week this week, and expecting similar conditions to continue through much of the week, with some continued slightly breezy and breezy conditions through much of the week, as well as staying pretty seasonable temperature-wise. We'll see a mild day on Wednesday, but otherwise we'll see those temperatures right around what we expect for this time of year, and no lightning or precipitation expected until we get into the weekend forecast. If we take a look at the current surface analysis, we have a boundary that pushed through the area last night. It's bringing in those more seasonable temperatures as well as some breezy conditions, as we are set up between an area of low pressure off to the northeast and off the coast, and this area of high pressure over the central part of the country. That tighter pressure gradient between the two is going to keep us in those breezy conditions over the next coming days. But we'll see that area of high pressure building down southward and slightly eastward, and it's going to help keep things pretty quiet in the local area this week. If we look at the upper level winds from this morning's sounding, we have some northwesterly winds near the surface around 26 knots, and seeing those winds become more west-southwesterly as we go up through the mid and upper levels. Seeing some pretty stout winds today with a peak wind of 103 knots at 25,000 feet. And the freezing level today is at 5,100 feet. If we look at our current visible satellite, we could see just mainly some scattered high clouds across the area, a few mid-level clouds. Expecting that to continue as we go through the day. We'll see a period of some increased cloudiness as we get later in the day, but overall partly to mostly cloudy at times. If we look at the GFS model here, see how things are expected to play out as we go through the week and into the weekend. Again, expecting mainly dry and quiet conditions, other than seeing some slightly breezy to breezy conditions as we go over the next couple of days. As you can see, that area of high pressure over to southeast, and keeping a tighter pressure gradient across the area, so it's going to keep things breezy. And then as we go into Wednesday, we'll see a slight increase in the temperatures with a slightly milder day on Wednesday. And then as we go into Wednesday evening, another boundary with an upper level wave moves through the area and brings us back down to more seasonable temperatures, and continues some slightly breezy to breezy conditions behind it. As we go into the weekend, we'll start to see that area of high pressure building in closer and over the region. That's going to cause those winds to weaken and taper down as we go into the day on Friday, but that will be short-lived. As we get into Friday evening, we'll see an area of low pressure coming together and moving up the southeast coast. Right now, the GFS here showing that bringing some rain chances into the local area as we get late Friday into the overnight hours, and continuing into the morning and part of the day on Saturday before that area of low pressure starts to move out of the area. Now, with that area of low pressure moving through, we'll once again see a return to some breezy conditions as well. And as we go into the end of the weekend, the GFS here has that system exiting the area, just keeping some breezy and seasonable temperatures in the region. There is some uncertainty as we go into the weekend forecast, as other models are showing that area of low pressure lingering in the region and keeping some precip chances into the area on Sunday. So we'll have to narrow that down as we get closer to that time frame. But right now we'll expect mostly dry conditions on Sunday. So looking at the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, expecting mainly green conditions, but we do have yellow conditions through much of the next 24 hours for those winds that are above 25 knots. Do expect those slightly breezy conditions to continue out of the northwest, sustained around 10 to 15 knots, gusting up to 23 knots. And we'll see those high temperatures up around 53 degrees this afternoon, which is right on par with our average high this time of year. Likely see those winds briefly die down as we get through the sunset time frame, and as we go into the evening, we'll see a period of some increased cloud cover, but we'll continue to see those winds picking back up as we approach midnight, and seeing those winds back up, gusting to around 22, 23 knots as we go through the morning hours, and our low temperature getting down to around 34 degrees. Right now, tides running about a foot above normal. In the next couple of days, pretty much similar conditions. We'll see partly to mostly cloudy at times for our Tuesday, and slightly breezy conditions continue with a high around 51 degrees. Once again, keeping that yellow risk for those winds above 25 knots. We'll see the winds weaken a bit as we go Tuesday night, with a low around 41 degrees. And as we get back into Wednesday, we'll see Continue partly to mostly cloudy conditions, and those winds pick back up with a breezier day for our Wednesday, bumping up to an orange risk of those winds that are above 25 knots, and a milder day with some more southerly flow, highs around 62 degrees. And as we look at the extended forecast here, we could see mainly seasonable temperatures through the extended forecast here, with those highs in the low to mid 50s and seasonal lows in the mid to upper 30s, with the exception of Saturday morning, a little bit milder there, but continue mostly sunny to partly cloudy conditions on Thursday, with still a slight breeze continuing, and then things calm down for much of the day on Friday, but then we'll see those increasing clouds. We'll start to pick up that chance of rain as we go Friday night into Saturday, and then continue to see some rain on Saturday, but then should see that wrap up with keeping about a 20% chance of some lingering rain as we go into the remainder of the weekend, depending on how that area of low pressure plays out, whether it moves out of the region like the GFS is showing, or if it continues to linger around. But nonetheless, we'll see some breezy conditions as that area of low pressure moves into the region as well for the weekend. That's going to wrap up the 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8:15 and 10 a.m. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day.